So next, we are going to understand the inheritance and its type. See, I have already told you that there are few pillars of object-oriented programming. What were those? Those were inheritance, data abstraction, polymorphism, right? These were what? These are the pillars of the object-oriented programming and the basic properties of it. Now we are going to understand the inheritance, which I have already told you in starting lectures of this particular series of object-oriented. Let's see again with the help of the program so that we can understand it with the help of the demo program and code it very well. See, it is what? It is a mechanism that permits new classes to be created out of existing classes by extending and refining its capabilities. That means in inheritance, see, it is a basic example. As we are the child, as we are the children of our parents, so when we inherit certain properties of our parents, and we have certain properties which are of our own, right, which are new. So we can say that our parents are the base class and we are what? We are the subclass, right? So here also we can have a base class which is defined, and there is a subclass which is inheriting certain properties or attributes of the base class, and that can be used in the main program, right? So these are the use of inheritance. The existing classes are called base classes, parent classes, or superclasses. The new classes are called as derived class, child class, or the subclasses, right? So if I say we have a vehicle, let's see the example we have taken also. The subclass can inherit or derive the attributes and methods of the superclass, provided that the superclass allows so. If in the superclass it is the access specifier as defined as the public, only then it can inherit the properties, right? If it is private, it cannot be inherited. So besides, the subclass may add its own attributes and methods and may modify any of the superclass methods. So as it can have the few attributes which are derived from the superclass, as well as it can have its own attributes also. Now see, let's see what it is. We can say inheritance is simply is a relationship. How? Let's see, let's say vehicle is a superclass and car and truck are the subclasses. This is a, let's say, parent class, and this is a child class or subclass. Why? Because vehicle have certain properties which are like registration number, right? The model, the color, the speed, mileage, etc., etc. So we can say even the truck can have the registration number, the model, the color, the speed, and the mileage, right? But it can have certain few attributes which are of its own. So what are these? These are forming the attributes which are inherited by the truck class from the vehicle class, and same is the concept with the car, right? So this is what? This is the use of inheritance. What is the use? We can reuse the code. It gives us the facility to reuse the code. How we can reuse the code? We are not going to define, when we are going to define the subclass as truck, I am not going to define all the data members, all the attributes again. I'm going to simply inherit it with the syntax, with the one-line syntax. Okay. Now see, we have different types of inheritance which are called as single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hybrid inheritance, etc. Now single inheritance is a subclass derives from a single superclass. Whenever there is a single superclass and subclass is deriving certain attributes, that is called as single inheritance. What is multiple inheritance? A subclass derives from more than one superclass. when we have a subclass and there are more than one superclass, then it is called as the multiple inheritance. That means there are two parent classes and one subclass is there, and that particular subclass is taking the attributes from two parent classes, right? Multi-level inheritance is what? A subclass derives from a superclass, which in turn is derived from another class, and so on. So these examples we have already seen in the earlier starting lectures. You can go through that particular with the detailed version, right? Next is hierarchical inheritance. A class has a number of subclasses, each of which may have subsequent subclasses continuing for a number of levels so as to form a tree structure. That means there is a hierarchy of inheriting the properties from the superclass to the subclass, and then again while there's one more subclass which is inheriting the properties of subclass 1, and then the hybrid inheritance, which is a combination of multiple and multi-level inheritance. So these are the types. Let's see how it is. This is the single inheritance. Student having scholarship will have the same properties as student, certain properties. So it is a parent class and it is a child class. Okay. Next, let's say tire. Tire is inheriting certain properties from parent class 1, that is wheel, and parent class 2, that is rubber. So these are what? There are two parent classes and there's one subclass which is being inherited from this particular classes. What is multi-level? Multi-level is which is forming interrelated, that is animal classes there, and mammal classes having certain properties which are inherited from animal, and human classes having certain properties which are inherited from mammals, and further mammals are inheriting properties from animal, and so on and so forth, right? Now this is hierarchical. Hierarchy is forming, you all know what is the hierarchical structure. It is a tree like structure. That means if we say there are vehicles, there are certain properties which are common for the land, for the water, and for the air. Again, the speed, the mileage, etc., etc. But the land will have tires. The water will not have tires. It will have a different rotor machine. Air will have different, signal systems for getting the signals, the directions in a different way. So, and again, car is the one which has the properties of land vehicle, bus again land vehicle, but ship has the properties from water vehicle, etc., etc. So let's see with the help of a demo program how do you do the inheritance, right? See, what we are doing here is, this is the same concept, include and using namespace. Here I'm going to define a class that is called as the class dimension. This is one class I have defined as the dimension. This is the name of the class. Public is the access specifier, and I have initialized one thing, that is side, which is of which data type? Float, that is equal to 10.67, right? And I'm going to close it, the curly braces and the semicolon. That means this is one class. I have defined it as the parent class. Okay, now I am defining a child class. How this is defined as the child class? This is again one more class with the name as square. Okay, and colon, this is the syntax for inheritance. This is the colon public dimension. That means what? The square is inheriting the properties of class dimension publicly. Okay, the class, that is the square, is inheriting the properties of the class dimension publicly. So what? It is termed as the parent class and it is termed as the child class. Okay, then again public, this is how the syntax is defined. The subclass, the class, name of the subclass, colon, public, and the name of the superclass. Curly braces, again access specifier, double area, double x. Curly braces, return x into x, this is simple, and curly braces. So this is what this is the subclass. Now see how it works. Int main braces square s1. This is what? This is the instance of class square. That is S1 is what? S1 is the object of class of square class. I am going to do C out area greater than sign S1 dot area S1 dot side return 0. Now here you can see that area side is not not the data member of square, but it is the data member of this particular class, but it can be accessed from the square only, from the square class also. Why we can access the side from the square class? Because we have defined the inheritance out here. We have defined the square as the subclass which can access all the data members of dimension class publicly. That is why it can access this particular side class. Okay, and then it will give you the area of the square. That is, output will be area is equal to whatever the area will be. Fine. So this is the single inheritance. We can see one more example of the demo program. See, in this we have put it in more detail. This is one class that is called as the vehicle class. In this is the name of the class. This is access specifier. Mileage and cost we have defined. This is what? This is the data members which I initialized. This is the method or the function we have, that is void put vehicle details. What it is? See out I am a vehicle. It will print I am a vehicle. It will give the mileage of a vehicle, mileage. See out cost of vehicle. It will give the cost, right? Now we have, this is the parent class. How we have made this parent class? With the help of this. This is the class, again one more class, that is car is defined out here. Class car colon public vehicle. Now what it is? Car is a subclass which is inheriting the properties of class vehicle publicly. Okay, now public string color is equal to B, blue, int tire is equal to 4. This is the data members of subclass car, and this is the function for subclass car. What it is? Void show car details. See out I am a car. See out color of car, color. See out number of tires in a car, and closing of it. Now in main program, I am going to create an instance of object of class car, that is C1. I have created an instance. Now I'm going to call the function C1 put vehicle underscore details return 0. Now you can see this particular is an instance of which class? Subclass car. But I am calling the method of class vehicle, parent class. Why I can call this particular method or function here also? Because we have defined the inheritance. We have defined the car class as the subclass of vehicle. So we have defined it here and return 0. What will be the output? Output will be, it will give the put details. It will print I am a vehicle. Mileage of vehicle is 30. Cost of vehicle is 500. It will give this answer. I can also do one more thing. I can here do, that is C1 dot show car details. Then it will do what? Then it will give the output as I am a car. Color of car is blue. Number of tire in a car is R4. So this is what we have in the inheritance. So I hope this is understood by you all. Thank you very much.